Hey, BassGeek here. Are you using the same bait on the Underspin year round? It could be costing you fish. Here's why. What's up, geeks, man? It is good to be back out here on the water. Listen, I was on this little lake. Now, most of the lakes in Tennessee don't freeze unless it gets super cold. But this little lake, literally from that point up, was frozen. I brought my son-in-law out here, but luckily it don't freeze very thick, so it kind of thawed out. And I'm happy because I found a school of bass right back there. We're gonna go take what we're about to talk about and run through them and another little school down that way. All that being said, let's get some business out of the way real quick. Hey, guess what? The hats are live. We got the black like you guys wanted, and we got the blue and white like I'm wearing right now. That was only two colors I could get. Apparently, these hats are very hard to come by and get, just like still a lot of things because of the whole COVID crap. But all that being said, they are live out there. We also have the beanies, which you've seen me wearing a couple other videos now, and maybe a live. So go out there and check them out. I tried to keep the prices down as much as I could, guys, but I don't handle, I just don't have the money to be able to buy the product, bring it in. And so the prices, they're not managed by me. The company that I have managed my apparel sets them, so they are what they are. But, I appreciate you guys that can go out there and buy one. It does help the channel. All that money literally goes right back into the channel, paying for gas, paying for, if I drop my phone in the lake, which has happened. Let's jump down here in a boat, and I want to show you guys a couple of my favorite finesse underspins, because I love to throw big underspins during the summer, but during the wintertime, you really need to change your baits up. So let's talk about the underspin, and then we'll talk about the baits I like to put on when it's cold. So let's talk about some of the winter underspin heads that I like first, okay? Now, for the finesse, I really, really love the ledge head. This is the drop head bling. And you can kind of bend that wire down anywhere you want, right? It's really great for both the Mickey and just throwing out there and kind of swimming back to you. And I'll show you some of the baits I like on that in just a second. Next, if you want to go a little bit bigger, is this. Now, I've got the big one on because I'm going to be fishing deep, but he makes them way down to like an 1/8. I don't even remember, but this is the 1/2 ounce. Now, what I love about this is if you're getting nips, you can actually take this blade off and put some of the VMCs. There'll be some video tags up here. You can go check out where I really tweak out these underspins. This is by far my year-round favorite underspin. Now, I'm going to give you a couple of alternative ones if you want, but if it's me, the ledge head really makes my two favorite. Cumberland Pro makes some really nice ones. They make them in some great sizes. And I don't have any with me right now, but Demiki makes a great underspin too. It's a lot like the ledge head version, so you can use it both as a drop head and sort of as that traditional underspin, and it's really good with these baits. Now let's talk about some of my favorite baits to put on each. So let's start with the big boy. This is called the Tennessee River Bling by Ledge Head, by the way. And some of my favorites, man, it's just really, some of my favorites are just straight tails. 304 makes some great ones. I like the regular fluke. This is the super fluke, but I like the regular fluke a little bit better in the wintertime. Even, I don't remember, Gary Yamamoto makes one of these, but these, you can see this is the blade minnow. These are great on an underspin this time of year. And even to make it simpler, the good old, and you can see this is one of my favorite colors on a clear water lake like this, is the good old caffeine shad. So, there's some, just as long as it's a straight tail. I think what we're going to try today is this one. So now, for the smaller ones, basically I use like the 2 and 3 inch, the Demiki style baits on the smaller ones. These are Ramsey baits. He makes a great one. Bass Munitions makes a great one. There'll be links in the description for all these too. Of course, Demiki, one of my all-time favorites. This little bait I use so much, and they make so many other good products. And then, of course, the new Yum Sonar Minnow. Great color here, natural shad. So these are some of my absolute favorites that I love to put on those little ones. But since we might be fishing for some smallmouth, let's go with a smallmouth pisser offer. So we've got two different styles of heads here, and I'm going to show you how to rig these. Give myself a little line so I don't stab myself too often. So as I always say, and you can tell this don't have an open body in it. So what you always want to do is snug it up there. Use a finger, use a thumb, and then right where that seam is, if you can see that seam, you want to poke you a nice little hole so that you can see where it comes out. Then, you want to get the blade out of the way. You're going to come dead center of that nose, and you want to try and keep the bait fat up through here, so you make sure you're coming right through the center of the bait. Don't turn up. I don't know if you can see that there, but you see how I'm staying straight? We don't want to turn up until we get right to that hole. So we're right at that hole. We want to come up and come right out that hole. And we're going to shove it around. You're going to see us make that nose fat, and we're going to bend that tail over, and we're just going to twist. This is why I love my good old twist locks. You don't have to have glue. You don't have to have anything else. Get it on there good and straight. And, you know, sometimes if you go a little too far back, all you have to do with these baits, just give it a tiny tear right there. Pull it out nice and straight. There you go. Good straight underspin. Check your blade. See if you need to bend this down a little bit. Shouldn't be hitting. We want it nice tight to the body. Sometimes a trick, I'll tell you, it is good in the summertime to bend this wire straight down because it looks like a couple of different shad swimming together. But in the wintertime, sometimes it's better just to keep it nice and tight. All right, now let's look at the other. Now, most of these are going to be really, really simple. There's your keeper right there, which, like I say, I'm not a huge fan of, but they've got the open belly. So all you got to do is come straight through the nose, come right out there at the top of that. So what we're going to do is we're going to come straight through that nose. We're going to look in that belly, make sure that we're coming out right. I don't know if I can get you all to see this, but right there, you can see it a little bit. Right there. Now we're going to slide it up right until we get there. We're going to fold it over, okay? Just going to open that belly. We're not even going to push the hook through, okay? So we're just going to push it up on there. And then that'll tell us exactly where our hook needs to come through. Pop, you're through. Make it nice and fat. And there you have it. Again, check where the blade is. And you, my friends, are good to go. All right, boys and girls, let's talk about rod, reel, and line setup for the Underspins. This is, like I say, one of my favorite combos. This is the TFO Professional. All right, check that bad boy out. Great little rod right there. Love it, well put together. Probably $130 rod. Great bang for the buck. Now this is the TFO Professional, and of course, as I always say, if I can get it, it's so shiny and pretty. But you can see the 7-foot medium is what I like on this. I believe this is a mod fast, and I pair it, as always, this is, I've had this reel forever. This is one of the Crush reels from Lew's, and this is, I think, $100 reel, so one of their higher end spinning reels. And as you can see, man, I've beat and banged. This thing's held up forever. Now that is K9, the yellow. I'm slowly moving away from the yellow to the pink. I can see it better. And of course, on this, a little trick I do, I know you can't see it, but that is 8-pound fluorocarbon on here. Now the next rod and reel combo, and I'm fishing 12-pound on this, and this is my bigger underspin right here. This is, I've got a Lew's. This is an older BB1 Pro that I love. You can get the new BB1 Pro, which I also love. But this is a 6-4-1 too, by the way. 6-4, 6-3 when I'm fishing underspins, especially when I'm fishing deep, that's where I want to be. Now this is a TFO Elite. So the great thing about that is this is a 7.3 medium heavy fast action. Great rod, great looking rod. And man, this thing casts my little underspin a country mile. So I got a school of fish out here. They're just right out here in front of us. I know it's a little sunny. Sorry if you're getting a lot of glare, but I can't see anything. So an underspin. Basically what you're gonna wanna do is the same thing that you do fishing a swim bait. You throw it out there. If you don't have live scope, you're gonna have to count it down. You're gonna have to learn how to do that. You're gonna put it on the bottom, or you can just sink it. In this case, you can sink it to the bottom, give it a pop up, and just reel it at a nice, slow, steady pace. All right, so we are on the bottom. Close my bell, and I'm just gonna give, oh, I think something hit me on the drop. All right, let's open our bell back up. I wanna get back down on that bottom. There we go. And we're just gonna give it a pop, and we're gonna start slow rolling. But that is really it. You just slow roll it past those fish. Now you can use it as a search bait, but the thing about it is during the wintertime, you wanna be as subtle as you can. And we've got about 40-degree water temps here. I know up there, up north, it can get a lot colder. I was on this lake just the other day and it was 37. So you don't want a whole lot of, tail wiggle, motion, action, and this is one of the most natural things that you can throw out there. So it's pretty much the same exact thing with the casting, and like I said, you want something super subtle. I mean, how much more natural do you think that's gonna look? All right, guys, so some of the places you want to target, like right now, I've got a huge school out here just off this bluff. One thing that they'll do is they'll pull out, they'll set on a spot, and then they'll pull out on the bluffs and feed, something you need to know. So the ones that are feeding, you want to take these baits and stay tight to these bluffs, and you really want to fish places like the points, the ends of these bluffs too. Great places. Your standard winter time stuff. Channel swings, points, bluffs, humps. That's what you're looking for. I tell you this all the time. Pay attention to what gets the most sun. You'll run into a great evening bite when you do. Questions, comments in the comment section below. Make sure you change your baits in the wintertime. You want straight tails. You want subtle baits. When that temperature drops below, I would say 50 degrees, maybe even 55, okay? At least where I'm at, which is kind of dead center of the United States as far as north and south. That's what produces for me. The colder it gets, the subtler the bait, even on an underspin. An underspin is a great cold water bait. You want to fish it above them. One of the things that you want to do is count it down on a bluff, but on a hump, or if you're contouring the bottom, let it sink to the bottom, pop it up, and then just make sure every once in a while you feel that tick the bottom, so you're good and close to the bottom. If you're reeling too fast, you're not going to touch bottom. If you're reeling too slow, you're dragging that bottom all the time. Questions, comments in the comment section below. Like it if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. Make sure you ring that bell. Sundays, Wednesdays, that's when every video comes out. 100% Watch Squad, best way to support the channel. And as always, you guys rock.